There comes a time in your journey when the silence grows louder than the noise, when the outer world, with all its distractions and contradictions, tries to convince you that nothing is happening, that the vision you once held so dearly is fading into illusion. But I tell you, that is the moment you must not give up. That is the very sign, the sacred whisper of your inner world, revealing to you that your manifestation is alive. It is stirring beneath the surface. It is working even when you cannot see it. You were never meant to chase your desires through the outer world. You were meant to call them in, not through struggle, but through surrender to the truth that what you imagine with feeling is already yours. The world you see is not separate from the world you feel within. The distance between the seen and the unseen is only your conviction. And the signs you crave, the evidence you long for, do not begin with physical proof. They begin within your awareness. You must understand this. The moment you imagined your desire and felt its reality, the seed was planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. From that moment on, the world had no choice but to bend, shape, and rearrange itself to reflect that inner conviction. But here is the mystery. This process is not always visible. It unfolds in dimensions you cannot touch, through circumstances you cannot predict, and yet it is happening. It is moving. The first sign that your manifestation is working is not in the thing itself, but in you, in your inner climate. You find yourself feeling it more naturally, thinking of it not as something distant, but as something familiar. You walk through your day with subtle surges of confidence. You are no longer trying to make it happen, you simply expect it. You begin to feel at home in the version of reality where your desire exists. That is not coincidence, that is the vibration shifting. The second sign appears in the form of resistance, and this is where many falter. Do not be discouraged when old thoughts rise to the surface, when fears you thought you buried reappear, or when the world reflects lack before abundance. This is not failure. This is the purification of the mind. You are shedding layers of the self that no longer align with what you have called in. You are letting go of the version of you that believed it was impossible. That pain, that doubt, it is not punishment, it is preparation. It is the shedding of an old skin, for the new has already been born within you. And here's what you must remember. Manifestation is not about getting, it is about becoming. You are not summoning something foreign. You are remembering who you truly are. You are returning to the version of yourself that already has, already knows, already lives the desire fulfilled. Every emotion, every obstacle, every delay is not a block, but a doorway through which your new identity steps forward, until it becomes the only self you recognize. There are no accidents on this journey. When you suddenly feel drawn to new ideas, when unexpected conversations echo your inner vision, when synchronicities seem to stalk your every move, do not dismiss them. These are not random. These are the echoes of your own inner speech. The outer world is only repeating what you have whispered in the silence. The people you meet, the signs you see, the words you hear, they are your thoughts dressed in matter, your inner dialogue made visible. And you must be vigilant, for your reality is not created by a single moment of belief, but by the dominant feeling that you carry. If you entertain doubt but return again and again to the inner certainty that it is done, you are on the path. If you fall into fear but rise again with the knowing that it is yours, you are on the path. If the world tempts you to give up, but something deeper says, wait, it's working, then trust that voice. It knows what your eyes cannot yet see. There is a sacred moment just before manifestation, when everything appears to fall apart. When you are tested, not by the universe, but by yourself, by the remnants of your former self begging to return to what is familiar. This is not the time to surrender to the illusion. This is the time to be still. to hold the vision with more reverence than ever before. For what you seek is already seeking you, and what is meant for you cannot pass you by. It may be delayed by your disbelief, but it cannot be denied to your faith. Feel the power of that which is already yours. Walk as though it has happened. Speak as though it is done. Not because you are pretending, but because you are aligning. Because you understand that imagination is not fantasy, it is creation. It is the workshop of reality. Everything you see in your outer world was once an invisible thought. You are not imagining to escape reality. You are imagining to build it. And when you begin to feel gratitude for things not yet visible, when you can thank life for blessings still unseen, that is the sign, that is the vibration of completion. You are no longer asking, you are claiming. You are no longer begging the universe, you are becoming the universe in form. You are collapsing time, you are drawing the end into the present. And yes, there will be days when you feel nothing is happening, when you question if you've lost your way. But these are the most important days. These are the days you must persist, not with force, but with faith. Because when it feels the most silent, the most still, that is when the current is shifting deepest. The old reality is dissolving. The new one is taking shape. And though it may seem slow, it is perfect. It is precise. It is divine. Look at your life. The shifts are subtle but real. You feel more drawn to your inner world. You care less about the opinions of others. You notice numbers repeating. You sense things before they happen. You feel the future in your body, like a memory that hasn't happened yet. That is manifestation, not in the thing, but in your being. You are not waiting, you are becoming. And becoming is the most sacred act of creation. The moment you desired it, it began. And every moment you return to the feeling of it being done, you feed it. You nurture it. You draw it closer. You align with its frequency. So do not give up. Do not be fooled by the quiet. The quiet is the womb of manifestation. It is where the unseen becomes form. It is the space between desire and arrival. And in that space, your faith must be your eyes. You have no idea how close you are. But your soul knows. Your higher self knows. And it is leading you. Through detours that are actually shortcuts, through delays that are actually alignments, through losses that are actually clearings. It is all for you, it is all responding to you. Life is not happening to you, it is answering you. It echoes what you believe, not what you beg, what you assume, not. So shift your assumptions. Assume it is done. Assume you are worthy. Assume it is coming with ease, and the world will rearrange itself to match that internal truth. You don't need to know how, you just need to know who you are, and you are the operant power. You are the dreamer dreaming the dream and awakening within it. Do not look to the world for validation. Look within. If you can feel it, it is yours. If you can see it in imagination, it exists. The world is not the cause, it is the effect. Your inner world is the only true source. So dwell in the end. Live from the feeling. Act not to make it happen, but because it has already happened. That is the shift. That is the secret, and that is the sign. The real transformation begins not when the outer world changes, but when your reactions to it no longer dictate your state. You will know your manifestation is working when you find yourself unshaken by the evidence of its absence. When you stop needing signs and become the sign. When you rest in the knowing that everything is unfolding precisely as it should, without your interference, because your assumption has already impressed itself upon the formless substance of reality. From that moment, the only task remaining is to remain faithful. This faith is not blind, it is not delusional, it is the deepest form of intelligence, the kind that understands that the true laws of this universe do not operate by sight, but by vibration. Everything is energy, and energy responds to the command of consciousness. The moment you became one with your desire in imagination, you altered the energy field around you. Invisible forces began conspiring. People, places, timing, and even your own biology all began shifting in quiet synchrony. You may not see it, but it is there. Feel it in the stillness between your breaths. Sense it in the space behind your thoughts. That gentle pull forward, that invisible tide drawing you into alignment, that is not your imagination, that is creation, that is movement. When you feel that rising inner calm, that deep peace without cause, that serene excitement, know that you are in harmony with your desired reality. The feeling is the sign. The feeling is the bridge. And in this sacred space, you begin to lose interest in forcing things. You stop needing to control. You do not act from desperation, but from inspiration. Your movements become guided, intuitive, timed with divine rhythm. That is a sure sign you are living in alignment with your manifestation. Inspired action is not struggle, it is flow. It is not about chasing, but allowing. It is the art of being moved by that which already knows your path. Even your dreams change. You begin receiving messages in sleep, glimpses of futures that feel like echoes of a life already lived. Do not dismiss them. Your dreams are not random. They are previews. Sometimes they carry codes, instructions, confirmations, symbols. They are the language of the subconscious, and your subconscious is the womb of creation. When your dreams shift, your life is close behind. And yes, things may fall apart first. Relationships may dissolve. Jobs may end. Patterns may collapse. This is not destruction, it is clearing. The old must give way for the new to emerge. Trust this process. Do not grieve the shedding of what no longer serves you. Rejoice in it. For it is a sign that your old self, the one who believed in limits, in struggle, in separation, is dying, and the new you, the one who lives from the end, who sees through the eyes of certainty, is emerging. When the world starts to feel foreign, that is a sign. When your conversations no longer resonate with the old crowd, that is a sign. When your surroundings begin to feel misaligned, it is not that you are lost, it is that you are rising. Your frequency is lifting, your inner world has already shifted, and the outer world is now catching up. You are no longer the same, so your world cannot remain the same. Be patient with this realignment. It is divine, it is necessary, it is sacred. You'll notice it in your habits. You begin to choose differently, not out of discipline, but out of identity. You no longer crave what contradicts your vision. You instinctively move toward what supports your expansion. That is a sign your new reality has begun to impress itself on your subconscious. You are becoming the person who already has it. And because you are that person, you no longer need to strive. You simply express, you simply allow. You start to notice the little things. A song plays with lyrics that mirror your inner affirmations. A person appears with the exact message you needed to hear. A post or book finds you unsearched, and it speaks directly to your vision. These are not coincidences, these are calibrations. You are communicating with the unseen, and it is responding. The bridge of incidents is being constructed, and you are walking it. Moment by moment, breath by breath, trust by trust. Sometimes the most powerful sign is silence. When all outer movement ceases, when nothing appears to be shifting, that is when the deepest transformations are happening. The void is not empty, it is full of becoming. In this sacred stillness, you are being rewired. The old neural pathways of doubt are being replaced with new patterns of faith. The subconscious is reorganizing its blueprint. So do not fear the stillness. Do not mistake it for failure. It is the cocoon phase, and from it you will emerge transformed. You begin to feel joy without reason. Laughter rises for no cause. Smiles come without effort. There is no external trigger, only internal knowing. This is alignment. This is freedom. When your emotional state no longer depends on appearances but on inner truth, you have mastered the secret. You have become the cause, not the effect. You no longer beg for signs. You walk as the sign. That is the greatest shift of all. Do not be surprised if you feel a loss of identity. You may find yourself unable to relate to your past. Your memories lose their emotional weight. The pain you once held so tightly dissolves. This is not emptiness. It is space. Space for the new story, the new self, the new life. You are not losing yourself. You are becoming yourself. The version of you that was imagined in love, born in possibility, and held in vision is now taking root. Everything you desire, everything you long for, already exists in the eternal now. There is no future. There is only alignment. You are not attracting, it is already here. You are matching, you are meeting it in the field of assumption. When your assumption becomes natural, the world conforms. It cannot resist. For the outer is clay, and your inner world is the sculptor. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is to dwell in the end. Feel it real. Make it vivid. Let it become the most familiar place in your mind. Your inner conversation should reflect the life you wish to live. Speak from it, not about it. Feel from it, not toward it. There is no power in longing. The power is in being, in embodying the wish fulfilled so completely that nothing else feels real. And when the world throws contrast at you, when something shows up that seems opposite to your desire, smile. It is a test of your commitment to the new reality. Will you be moved by appearances, or will you stay loyal to the unseen? Will you waver, or will you persist? The choice defines your timeline. The choice determines whether you recreate the past or usher in the future. Do not ask when, do not ask how. These questions signal doubt. Instead, affirm that it is already done. Live as though the universe is working tirelessly in your favor, because it is. Every unseen force is aligning to your assumption. You are the magnet, you are the cause. The moment you align, the universe obeys. And if you need a reminder, look at your past. Look at the things you once dreamed of that are now normal. You have manifested before. You will do it again. And this time it will be even easier, for you have grown in awareness. You now understand that nothing is out there. It is all in here. And when in here becomes solid, out there becomes inevitable. So hold the vision, not with tension, but with joy. Return to it often. Let it be your sanctuary. Let it be your home. And in the moments when doubt tries to creep in, speak to it with love. Thank it for showing you where your faith still needs roots. Use it as fuel. Use it as a reminder of how deeply you care. And then return to the feeling, the knowing, the truth that you are not waiting. You are aligning. You are not hoping. You are knowing. You are not begging. You are being. And from that place of being, miracles unfold as a natural result. There comes a point when you realize you no longer need the world to convince you. You no longer chase proof because you have become proof. The sensation of already having replaces the desperation of trying to get. You wake up each day with a quiet certainty that everything is working out in ways you cannot yet articulate. That is not wishful thinking. That is alignment. That is the echo of your fulfilled state vibrating outward before the matter has even formed. And the beauty of this path is that it never lies. The universe never fails to reflect what you hold dominantly in your imagination. It may not show up in the exact way you expect it. It may take forms you didn't plan. but it always responds to the state you occupy. So when the people in your life begin to treat you as you've secretly wished they would, when opportunities arise from nowhere, when abundance starts to trickle in through the most unlikely avenues, do not question it. You did that. That is your consciousness taking shape. And even before all this physical movement, something deeper happens. You begin to feel free, unburdened, not because your bank account has changed, not because your relationship has arrived, but because you've stopped depending on them to feel fulfilled. You've found the inner key. You've remembered that feeling is the secret. And in that realization, you are liberated from the conditions you once thought controlled your life. What you used to chase, you now attract. What you used to force, you now allow. You radiate a different energy, not one of lack, but of completion. And because the outer world must obey the vibration you emit, everything shifts. People treat you better. Money comes unexpectedly. Doors open that were previously locked. Not because you beg, but because you became. This is not magic. It is law. When you understand that consciousness is the only reality, then you stop trying to manipulate the outer world. You shift inward. You go to the silence. You imagine the scene that implies your desire is fulfilled, and you dwell in that scene with intensity, with vividness, with belief, and then you drop it. You carry on with your life, not worrying, not doubting, but trusting that trust is the bridge. That trust is what separates the manifester from the one who waits. And here's what's most powerful. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You no longer need to spend hours visualizing. You simply enter the state and remain there. It becomes your dwelling place, your inner home. You return to it in traffic, in conversation, while walking, while falling asleep. It becomes the background of your life. And because it is your background, it becomes your foreground. It moves from mind to matter. Don't be discouraged if you waver. The mind will rebel. The old story will try to reassert itself. This is normal. It is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of purification. You are reconditioning your consciousness, and that takes repetition. You are replacing decades of unconscious programming with deliberate knowing. Be gentle, but be firm. When fear rises, meet it with the assumption of success. When doubt appears, drown it in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You are not asking life to give you what you want. You are declaring who you are. When you really know it's working, you stop needing to talk about it. You will stop explaining yourself to others. You will no longer need external agreement. The manifestation becomes sacred, private, internal. You carry it in your chest like a secret flame, and that flame lights your way. That is when the bridge of incidents accelerates. That is when the steps unfold without effort. That is when the people, places, and things start rushing to meet you. You'll recognize it when your reaction to contrast changes, when rejection doesn't faze you, when delay doesn't discourage you, when the appearance of the opposite only deepens your faith, because you know the truth that everything is rearranging for your highest good, that what looks like resistance is only the realignment of matter. You stop being reactive, you become causative, you become sovereign. This is not about pretending, it is about embodying, living from the state of already having. When you walk into a room as if you are already successful, already loved, already abundant, the world cannot help but reflect that back to you. You are not changing the world, you are changing your perception. And your perception is the lens through which reality must conform. And you know your manifestation is working when you become less and less interested in the outcome and more in love with the process. When the journey itself becomes rich, beautiful, meaningful, when the desire no longer owns you, but flows through you. When you feel so complete in the inner experience that the outer one feels like a bonus, not a necessity, that is when the desire is nearest, because it no longer controls you. It belongs to you. You might cry for no reason. You might feel waves of emotion, joy, sadness, release. These are signs. Not that something is wrong, but that the old version of you is dissolving. Energy is moving, blocks are clearing, the body is recalibrating to match the frequency of your new state. Let it move through you. Don't resist it. Don't suppress it. Allow it. This is the birth of your new identity. And when it arrives, and it will, you will feel no surprise because in your inner world it already happened 1,000 times. You lived it, you rehearsed it, you made it real long before the world reflected it. And in that moment you will realize you were never waiting. You were only remembering. You were only allowing the outer world to catch up with what your soul already knew. You are the dreamer, the actor, the script writer, the stage. And when you no longer doubt that truth, you no longer fear delays, detours, or even apparent failure, for everything is part of the unfolding. The desire, the delay, the discomfort, it all serves the fulfillment, it all serves the becoming, and if you stay in faith, it will all make sense in hindsight. Now is not the time to quit. Now is not the time to look around for evidence and let fear take root. Now is the time to return again and again to the inner scene, to the assumption, to the state, to the knowing. That is your job. That is your role. The rest is already written. You must remember, every time you think from the end, you are reshaping the unseen. Every time you feel it real, you are drawing it near. You are collapsing probabilities. You are choosing the timeline. You are commanding the quantum field. And it listens, not to your words, but to your state. So live from the end, walk in faith, persist in the assumption. Do not be discouraged if the world mocks your stillness. Do not let the voices of those who live by sight cause you to doubt your inner vision. What you see is temporary. What you feel is eternal. Build your world on the unseen, for the unseen governs the seen. The invisible causes the visible. The inner creates the outer. Your manifestation is not delayed, it is aligning. You are being positioned to receive it in the most perfect way. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. And you will look back with awe and realize every step, every trial, every moment of silence was working in your favor. It was not punishment, it was preparation. So rejoice in the unseen, celebrate the process, give thanks in advance, because the version of you who already has it is not waiting, they are living. They are speaking, walking, breathing, loving from the state of the wish fulfilled. And the more you step into that version of you, the more reality will mirror them. And as you continue in this state, even your breath changes. Your posture aligns. Your aura becomes magnetic. You don't just think abundance, you radiate it. You don't just believe in love, you become it. You don't just wish for peace, you exude it, and everything around you reorganizes to accommodate that frequency. There is no need to struggle or strain, for creation is finished. The moment you desire a thing, it already exists in some dimension of reality. Your only work is to align, to match, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and rest in it. And as you rest, the outer world will, without fail, reflect that rest. For consciousness is not passive, it is the projector of all that you see. And once you know this, you cannot unknow it. You cannot go back to the illusion of being a victim of circumstances. Now, you are the cause, And when you know yourself as the cause, the idea of giving up becomes absurd. Give up what? On whom? You are not waiting on life, you are directing it. You are not hoping for a breakthrough, you are becoming the one through whom the breakthrough flows. You are not stuck, you are standing at the brink of unfolding. If only you could see the layers of reality moving at this very moment, you would weep with joy. You would fall to your knees in awe. For life is not against you, it is for you, through you. So when the signs begin to appear, small at first, like ripples before a wave, acknowledge them. Give thanks for them. Celebrate them not because they prove anything to you, but because they are the natural outpicturing of the world you've already entered in imagination. A chance encounter, a repeated number, a name overheard, a dream that lingers. These are not random, they are affirmations. The mirror speaking back, the invisible making itself known. And if at any moment you feel tempted to say, nothing is happening, catch yourself, for that is a lie. The moment you assume your desire is real, everything is happening. Reality is bending around your new belief. Energy is organizing, momentum is building, the roots are growing beneath the surface, and you must not dig up the seed to check on its growth. You must trust. Water it daily with gratitude. Speak to it with love. Let it blossom in its own divine time. You'll know your manifestation is near when you stop trying to make it happen, when you feel its inevitability, when it feels as natural as breathing, as certain as the sun rising. You will feel relief without reason, ease without evidence, and that ease is the ultimate sign. For when you are no longer chasing the desire but resting in its certainty, you have claimed your power. You have claimed your throne. You are no longer subject to the world, you are sovereign in it. And in this sovereignty, all things respond. The vibration you emit becomes undeniable. People feel it. Circumstances shift to honor it. Life makes room for it. And you begin to see manifestations not only of what you intended, but of who you become, better than expected, beyond logic. Your world becomes a mirror of the frequency you embody, not the words you say. That is why you must guard your inner conversations. Speak to yourself as the version of you who already has it, not as the one still waiting. The tone of your inner dialogue is a broadcast signal. If you speak from lack, you create delay. If you speak from fullness, you summon miracles. So become the inner authority. Be the voice of certainty within. Let no doubt go unanswered. Let no fear go unconfronted. You are not powerless. You are the chooser. And sometimes the manifestation will arrive through strange channels, unexpected people, unfamiliar doors. Do not question how it comes. Just recognize it, accept it, give thanks for it. For the universe is efficient. It will use whatever path offers the least resistance. Be open, be ready, be grateful, and when it arrives, treat it as normal. For that is how it became real, by becoming normal in your inner world long before it showed up outside of you. Let your imagination lead, not your senses, not your past, not the opinions of others. The imagination is the true eye. It sees the unseen. It feels what is yet to be touched. It is the builder of worlds. And when you dwell there, when you see yourself walking in your vision, not as a wish, but as a fact, the universe obeys. It cannot resist the command of one who knows. You may find your environment begins to shift. You're no longer drawn to old habits, old people, old stories. That is because your vibration is no longer in resonance with them. Do not mourn what fades. Bless it. Release it. Make space for what aligns. You are being upgraded. You are being remade. And everything that no longer serves must fall away to make room for the life that matches your new identity. And you'll feel it. In your bones, in your blood, in your breath, a deep knowing will settle in, a knowing that cannot be taught, only remembered, a knowing that says, it's done. And that knowing will carry you. It will sustain you through the silence, through the wait, through the final contractions before birth. That knowing is the bridge. Walk it. This path requires courage, not the absence of fear, but the decision to move in faith despite it, to hold your vision when nothing outside agrees with it, to declare it is done even when all appearances say otherwise. That is the test, that is the alchemy, for when you can sustain the state, regardless of conditions, you have mastered the art of creation. And one day soon the conditions will bow, the world will rearrange, the unseen will solidify into form, and what once lived only in imagination will walk beside you in flesh and time. You will hold it, touch it, live it, but by then it will feel familiar, natural, effortless, because it was real to you long before the world caught up. So do not give up, not now, not ever. The evidence is in you, in the shifts, in the silence, in the strange peace that comes unprovoked, in the signs you see, in the resistance you feel, in the synchronicities that whisper, you are on the path. Trust them. They are not coincidences, they are confirmations. You are the one writing this story. You are the cause behind the curtain, the unseen force shaping the stage. The sooner you claim this, the sooner the world will respond. So take the seat of authority within. Assume your desire is done, and carry that feeling like a sacred flame through every day, through every challenge, through every moment of doubt. And if ever you falter, return. Return to imagination. Return to the scene. Return to the version of you who already knows. And in that return, you realign, you remember, you restore the bridge, and once more, the world begins to shift. You are not lost, you are not forgotten, you are not behind, you are exactly where you need to be, and everything is working, even when it seems still, even when it seems silent, especially then. You are on the edge of it. Stay in the feeling, persist in the knowing, walk as though it's already yours, and one day, without fanfare, you will look around and realize it worked.